Hello, my name is Onami, and this video is how to overcome shame and sexual trauma with a special note on incest. You can do this right now. It's not a once and for all thing. You'll have to revisit this once a year, but it's direct, it heals on contact, and you will feel the result right afterwards. This is divided into 3 parts. The first part, I'm going to tell you the symptoms of shame, give you a little bit of my story so that you understand I'm not speaking from the outside in, I'm speaking from the inside out. The second part is going to be a process. And for this process, all you're going to need is a private room with a bed or some headphones and a pillow. But you're gonna wanna make sure, people might be a little bit concerned about you during this time. You're gonna be making some noises. You're gonna want some privacy for it because you don't wanna be interrupted during that. And then the last part of it is a worksheet that you can do whenever on your own time. It's free. I'll drop the link for it in the bottom. And that really is the beginning of a lifestyle change. So let's get right into it. The 3 factors when it comes to sexual abuse are the victim, you. And if this is the first time you are accepting, like, I am a victim of sexual abuse, honey, I'm here with you. If you need to pause the video and take a moment at any point during this, you go right ahead. But accepting I'm the victim of sexual abuse is really hard. So I commend you for being here. I commend you for taking that first step. And just because you're a victim of sexual abuse doesn't mean like you're a victim. And just because it's always been like this for you, this pain of carrying it around, doesn't mean it's always going to be like this. When this video is over, you are going to feel different, walk different, be different, look different. You will be transformed. All right. So there's the victim, the abuser, and the setting or the context in which the abuse happened. Now, I have spoken to literally hundreds of women about sexual abuse with a special emphasis just in the last couple of days about incest. What I can tell you is this: you have spent a very long time indulging, or not indulging, but recognizing the other 2 sides of the story, the abuser and the setting. So, maybe it wasn't really his fault. He was on meds. We were both young. We were in a sex cult. This kind of thing just happened. Yes. But none of that is doing anything about the hardcore blocks that you have because this thing happened to you. Here's some other words in there that we might want to really stick with. This happened to you. This isn't something that you sought out. You weren't like a sexy kid looking for it. You were not asking for it. And your inability to refuse it is not because of any weakness on your part. So today's session is about you. When we do our Painkillers worksheet tomorrow, or whenever you've landed from the process today, we'll handle forgiving them, forgiving the setting, cutting the cord, making sure there's no unfinished business there. But today is about you. Just you and the pain that this caused you. Now, sexual abuse completely ruptures the 2nd chakra. Now, this lecture that I'm giving you here and this process is basically the Svadhisthana module of a teacher training that I do every single year called Wheels Reinvented. And Wheels Reinvented is how us witches handle psychological, mental, and every single block. every single psychological block, every type of mental illness. There is a which way through it that does not involve medication, that does not involve confronting your abuser, that does not involve having conversations with your family, that does not involve medication. And it works just like this, but on every single chakra. This is not a sales pitch. We're here to talk about Svadhisthana. If you want to know more, you can go to my website. Here's how you know that the sexual trauma has an impact on you, or is still having an impact on you. The Svadhisthana chakra is the home of pleasure. And so it sits above the root chakra, which is the home of need. And in life, like, you'll always get your needs met. Fear will just tell you that, it won't. But nature never gives more than enough. And us humans have the unique gift of desire, which is a unique ability to want more than we currently have. Like, animals don't have this. And this is not a curse. This is not something bad. Everything that, exoteric religions, Christianity, etc., have tried to tell you about desire being bad and wanting more is bad is literally all bullshit, to keep you obedient and submissive, which we will be working very hard to get over. Desire is about getting your wants met, and it's the world of pleasure. So a really good image for what it feels like to be in a blocked Svadhisthana chakra is the card, the Five of Pentacles, which I'll show you some examples of here. It feels like being on the outside looking in, being cold on the outside with just enough, you got a little food in your belly, you got a little bit of success, but those big dreams that you've had and you've always had, it feels like being on the outside, watching other people able to crack into these industries, other people being able to clear the $1 million mark, other people being able to write their autobiographies, but it feels like having dirt on your face that everyone can see but you, and no matter how hard you try to scrub, it doesn't come off. It feels like getting a lot of money and spending a lot of money, not being able to hold more than enough, because the Svadhisthana chakra is the home of enough. And enough is a concept. It's not an exact amount, right? So there's a really big difference between saying I want to lose or gain 10 pounds and saying I'll never be thin or thick enough. Because as long as you have that word enough, like, it could just keep on going. Like, I just think if I smoked enough weed that the problem would go away. I just feel like if I drank enough wine that the problem would go away. What is enough? This is the work of the Svadhisthana chakra. So it has 3 levels. There's not enough, which is where, like, you can't make your rent. You have not enough money. There's enough, where you have enough to pay your rent, but you can't save anymore on top of that. And then there's more than enough, which is literally more than enough. And your relationship with food, your relationship with God, your relationship with love, your relationship with money, all of these things, your relationship with sex, all of these things mirror each other. Now, this is speaking to, this rent analogy is speaking to level 1. Now, I've taught level 1 for a long time. Now I was experiencing this in level 2. I had bought the house of my dreams. Everything was quite stable. But I wanted more. And it had taken me a lot of this kind of work that I'm teaching right here. I've been teaching this workshop for a long time. I've graduated over 250 teachers in this method that is unique to me. Sacred, divinely given to me, because I experienced a lot of trauma, and no amount of therapists and no amount of drugs and no amount of boyfriends and no amount of psychedelics, no amount of any of it could heal me. We'll talk about that in a minute. At some point, what used to be enough for you, in my case, owning a home in New Mexico and running the Bruja Report, was no longer enough. I had to take the enough and slide it over to not enough. And then I realized the second level of my shame block, which was like, here I am all over again. So you're going to revisit this many times. Like, this work here is going to take you out of not enough and put you into enough and move you towards more than enough. That's what the follow-up work is going to be doing. Your lifestyle change is going to bring to you, because you can never grow in one direction only. So when you do this work here in your pleasure centers, it positively impacts every other area of your life. This Svadhisthana center is related to the one point of the triangle called the erotic, which is your desiring self. In addition to that, you have the physical and the spiritual. It's not just the physical and the spiritual like the exoteric religions have you wanting to believe in, and you're trying to constantly categorize if wanting more and wanting new things is either worldly and physical or godly and spiritual. It's its own thing. But because you can't grow in one direction only, for example, if you're trying to grow your wealth by just working the spiritual, it doesn't work. If you're trying to grow your wealth by just working the physical, the material, the business side of it, and the body side of it, it doesn't work. In order to create the vision of more and be able to pursue it, you need to work the erotic as well. And when you work all three together, like, magic doesn't discriminate. And what we're doing here today is magic. We are following, no matter where it seems like I'm going in the conversation, we are following a step-by-step equation to objectively clean the decay out from this wheel, this sex center. Clean it up, pack it tight with the good stuff, and set it into motion where it will remain turning until you meet your next level of shame, and then you can just do it again. Cool. So even if you clear that first level of shame and go from not enough to enough, if you're having a really hard time seeing what more than enough could look like, or you're like really satisfied with less, one of the main reasons why people don't get more is because, especially spiritual women, I'm just so grateful for what I have. I'm just so grateful for what I've got. I'm just, I don't want to ask for anything more. This is a block. You should always, always, always have a long list of the things you want. And anytime you have the opportunity to make a wish, 1111, or you're doing your daily prayers, which hopefully you have a practice of, you can tell God your wants, because your needs are already met by nature. So when you pray to God, please let my needs met, let me get my needs met, it's ridiculous. It doesn't work anyway. And then you say, my prayers don't work. Needs do not manifest because they're given. Nature always issues enough. Only once manifest. So if you're praying for needs, stop right now. To think that you need something that you don't have is insane. But when you're in not enough, it feels like everything is breaking down, like you're never going to get anything in your life. And that's really the nature of shame. Shame, guilt and fear, the block of the first chakra, is feeling like you did something wrong, therefore you're never going to have anything until you repent properly for this terrible thing that you did, when in reality you've never made a wrong turn. But shame is just this deep inner conviction that you're just bad, that there's just something wrong with you. So how do I know about shame? I was born into a sex cult called the Children of God. And this was very abusive on multiple levels. It was physically very abusive. It was psychologically very abusive. Spiritually, it was very abusive. And if you haven't heard of spiritual abuse, I've never heard anyone except for me talk about it. But I was told all the time that my spirit wasn't good enough to go with Jesus to be in the clouds. But on top of that, I was sexually abused as well, by strangers. And it would go on, because when a pattern begins in childhood, unfortunately, until you clear up the story at the root, which we're doing here today, it keeps happening. It keeps happening. I would go on to be raped, date raped, abused, always dating the wrong kind of guys, and just getting myself into really shit situations because I had never gotten to the root of the problem. But on top of all of this abuse, what really had the biggest impact on me was that I was molested by my brother, and not just once. I was molested by my brother, different incidents. And truthfully, the more I dig into it, the more little pieces I remember, because I'm telling you, it hurt so much when it happened that I shut that shit tight. I bottled that up and I put it away because I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't deal with it. You know why? I was a child. And a child is not supposed to know how to deal with these things, because in a perfect world, it would never happen. But in a perfect world, there would be no healers. And those of us who have incarnated to be healers, to really have an impact in this world, will often experience really traumatic and painful things so that you can find a method of healing and bring it to the people. Because you know what? Taking a pill that mutes something is not healing it. And neither are the numbing addictions, which are relative to the Svadhisthana chakra. The root chakra is all about control, anorexia, uppers, OCD. But the second chakra in shame is all about numbing, binge eating, drinking, opiates, codependency, needing to have somebody there all the time, sex. Whatever you can do to numb the pain and feel loved again, even if it's just feeling loved by your little lonely self in that little hole of alcohol, or that little opiate hole where no one can touch you, where you can be dead and alive at the same time. You know, when you really want to kill yourself, but you don't want to hurt your family, so you find a way of being dead while you're still alive. I know what that feels like. And it's coming from shame. But just because you've always felt this way, baby, doesn't mean you're always going to feel this way. You understand me? Just because you've always felt this way doesn't mean you're always going to feel this way. When my brother molested me for the first time, I completely blocked it out, and I won't go into details here. But afterwards, I was washing my panties out in the bathroom, trying to get the blood out of my panties. And I just felt in my core, I'm dirty. I'm dirty. I'm dirty forever. I'm horribly ruined. No one's ever going to love me. I'm dirty. I'm dirty. I'm dirty. And it's my fault. And it's my fault. And it's my fault. And after talking with as many women as I have about sexual abuse, and especially incest, the tendency for the victim to blame themselves is like basically just reflexive. I shouldn't have been so drunk. I shouldn't have been there. I should have said no. Even if you're not blaming yourself, you can be not blaming the person that did it to you. Oh, he was really fucked up on meds. It was yeah. But none of that is doing anything about the blocks that you feel right now. And the thing about the Five of Pentacles, this thing about being in this state of the outsider looking in at people that have so much more than enough. Haven't you ever had a friend who had real high standards with guys? Who, like, if a guy wouldn't take her wallet out on the first date, a guy disrespected her, was just like, no. A woman with boundaries, like, didn't have a problem just saying no, and you're like, how do you do that? Or have you ever had people that were like running mates of yours your whole life? They're super successful, doing great. All of the things that you've wanted and you've manifested, they've gotten. Why them and not you? Why them and not you? And this is the question at the root of shame. And if you can sit with yourself, if you can say, I'm not getting up from this seat until I hear the bullshit answer at the bottom of this, because when you're saying, why them and not me, why them and not me, you're always unconsciously answering. You just don't want to hear it, because when you hear it, you hear that in the back of your head all the time. It's what makes you drink. It's what makes you numb out. It's what makes you binge. All of this. I'm not lovable. I'm disgusting. I'm dirty. No one's going to love me. Everyone I love is going to leave me. And the reason why it feels so bad is because it's not true. Your body is trying to reject it like a poison. But instead we numb it, and instead we mute it, because it's all we know how to do when it hurts so bad. It hurts so bad. And I want to take a moment and acknowledge that this has hurt you so bad. From the beginning, it's hurt you so bad. And as you uncover these layers and you see, fuck me, like this has been holding me back so much, you're gonna get mad and you're gonna get sad and then you're gonna heal. I promise. The math does not discriminate. All right? So, is there anything else I need to add here? Just because something horrible happened to you doesn't mean you're bad, doesn't mean you're ruined, doesn't mean it's your fault. And it also doesn't mean that you're incest. They were incest and pulled you into that. It was not you seeking it out. It was not you seeking it out. It was not your fault. The good news, on the other side of this outside looking in, on the other side of this block, this fucking bullshit belief you have at the bottom where when you say, why them and not me, it answers unconsciously, because you're dirty. If you can get the next time you're feeling that, why them and not me, why them and not me, make yourself answer. Sit down and say, sit down, body. I am not getting up until you tell me why I'm so convinced that what works for everybody else, that the universal laws that work for everybody else don't work for me. You know how I figured this out? My clients were getting amazing results off the same advice I was trying to take for myself, but it wasn't working on me. And I said, I guess God just doesn't like me because my clients are having epic results. I try and do the same thing on myself and it doesn't work. And people said, oh, well, a healer can't heal themselves. And I was on my knees, but God, I cannot afford to go to any more healers. I cannot afford to go to any more psychics. I cannot afford to go to any more therapists. I have no money. And I'm trying to be a life coach. Like, you have to show me how to heal myself. A healer can't heal themselves, so what? We're just going to live in pain forever? And that's when I was given the divine technology of my workshop, Wheels Reinvented, because you can heal yourself, and I'm about to show you how. But when you're getting that feeling of why them and not me, sit down and say, why? Seriously, why them and not you? And your brain's going to say, I don't know. And you say, if you did know, what would it be? Brain's going to say, I don't know. You say, tell me now. If you did know, what would it be? And it'll spit out the little piece of bullshit. And for me, it was, I'm dirty. And then I asked myself, why am I dirty? And for the first time in 2017, after being sexually assaulted at a sweat lodge and being like, I've had enough of this shit. I've changed as a person. Why are these creeps still finding me and trying to get inside of me against my will? No. I made myself sit down because I'm dirty. Why am I dirty? Because my brother molested me. And I exploded into a puddle of tears. A puddle of tears. And then I started making some money that year. The year before that, maybe 10 grand in my coaching business. The year before that, maybe 15 grand in my coaching business. The year I cleared my shame, 50 grand. The next year, 250. No, the next year, 50 again. 2019, 250. 2020, $500,000. The next year, 250. Now, I didn't want to do my Wheels Reinvented. That's why my income stayed stuck right there and started decreasing, because while I had admitted it to myself once, this had happened to me, I didn't really want to talk about it. I didn't really want to make any waves go to the next level, because then it would really be true. It was a new level of acceptance that was being required. So if you were making a lot of money and then it stopped, look back and be like, when did I clear the shame? Like, if you're looking for shame, like the shame that you dropped about who you were, how you were, that allowed you to make more money. You're like, oh, wow, I raised my standards. I started saying no somewhere, and then I started making more money. You can ask yourself what the next level of that might be like for you. And that's how you can start to nudge yourself out of an income plateau. So we're almost done here. We're going to go into the process, but you're going to need to do this meditation do the worksheet, and you're gonna need to make a lifestyle change. A lifestyle change, which comes in 2 parts. So get your pen and paper and write this down. What did I say I would do and never did? And you're like, what's the deal with this question? Well, when your Svadhisthana is ruptured, you have no self-esteem. You think of yourself as dirty. You just can't think of yourself as being a new person. And the main thing that what this feels like is when you try and go and do something new, there's a little voice inside that's laughing at you. That's like, you're never going to do this, you dirty girl. You're never going to do this. And you say, why am I never going to do this? And it shows you this list. There's all going on unconsciously. This list of all the things you said you were going to do and you never did. Now, don't worry, you're not going to have to do all of these things, but every time you give your word to yourself and you don't keep it, you're doing to yourself what your abuser did to you, which is being untrustworthy, which is not keeping their word, which is betraying you, essentially. And so because you don't have to confront anybody to heal here, you are going to start to have radical personal accountability with yourself, which is that when you give your word to yourself, you fucking do it, or you don't give your word to yourself. Now, if you've given your word to yourself like I do all the time, I'm going to have 40 days of Sobhag Kriya and then 2 days into it, I'm not going to do it. That's okay. That might be your style, but you need to cross it off the list and being like, I'm not doing this anymore, and I will feel no shame about it. Because when you don't cross these things off the list, they continue to pester you. They continue to create blocks in your life. It fucking sucks. I'm telling you. So you're going to make a list of the things you said you'd do and never did, and don't slack on this. What did I say I was going to do and never did? Run a 5K, do a juice cleanse, do Sat Kriya, rearrange my apartment. If it's something that you make $1 million, if it's something that you can do and you still want to do, then push it up high on your priority list. Be like, okay, what do I got to do to make $1 million? What do I got to do to make this book happen? Make a new commitment to yourself. For 5 minutes every day, I'm going to meditate, and stick to it. Because when you do that, you'll have self-esteem. But if it's something you're even on the fence about doing, you can just cross it off your list. And if it's something that you really want to do, for example, you're like, I'm going to quit drinking, but you're just not ready yet. I totally get it. But it's causing you shame every time that you do it. So what I want you to do is say, okay, I'm going to revisit this in either 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days. Do not skimp on this. Go and make a reminder in your calendar. It'll only take you a second to be like, am I ready to quit drinking today? It's been 30 days. Set a reminder on your calendar 30 days from now that you're going to, or whatever duration of time you choose. And just that you're going to revisit it then, and just don't think about it until then. It doesn't matter. Do whatever you want. You won't feel shame about it. That's the first part of your lifestyle change. You're going to start doing the things you said you were going to do, because that's how we pull out the decay and the shame from the second chakra, and we pack it full with something that feeds you. You want self-esteem? Do esteemable things. What do you love about other people? That they're punctual, that they're honest, that they're reliable. Become punctual, honest, and reliable. Become patient. Become graceful. You can build yourself however you want, especially when you don't have a little voice saying there that says, no matter how hard you scrub, that dirt's not coming off your face, poor girl. And the second part of your lifestyle change is very simple, but I want you to repeat after me. Are you ready? No, thank you. Let's do it again. No, thank you. No, thank you. This is a complete sentence. It's not, you could just say no as well, but when you put a boundary where people aren't used to seeing one, sometimes they can be real cranky about it. So no, thank you. And your challenge is to not add more words than that if you can. If they say why not, then you can respond to that. But if they don't say why not, there's no need. You can just say no, thank you. Now, this is called a boundary. When you're trying to stabilize your second chakra, it's like, liquid and solid. I can either have all or nothing. You don't know how to put a screen therein where you're allowed to let the breeze come through your house without letting all the bugs in. This is going to be something you constantly navigate. Like there's certain substances with me that like I just only know how to be all or nothing with. This is basically anything you can get high on, and me, I want to get high on it all the time because I like being I like being high. So the path of being sober is the path that I'm on. You will navigate your own path. There's no right or wrong. There's only what works for everything, whatever is convenient when it comes to the way the universe moves itself. Nobody gets punished, as you've seen. You know, your abuser is walking around getting away with it. So it's not that you're going to get punished for drinking or smoking weed, but what kind of life do you want to have? And are these substances supporting it? Because if not, quitting something's honestly the easiest thing to do. You're taking something you do all the time and just taking it out, which means you have a whole bunch of free time. It's one less action that you're doing. It's technically a lot easier to quit something than to start doing something. And if you don't believe me, think about how easy it is to quit going to the gym and how hard it is to start going to the gym. It's just that the scarcity, which is also in the second chakra, the scarcity of like, my alcohol's going away, my weed's going away, it increases the value of it. This is just economics 101. Scarcity increases value. So when you put scarcity on something, says it's going bye out of your life, you're like, no, my pleasure, my freedom, my reward, my special, I'll never be happy again. It feels like punishment. All just the talk. But if the people that you look up to and respect have habits that you don't have, see if you can cultivate them, because when you become somebody you look up to, I'm telling you, the rest of the world follows suit. And the other side, the opposite of the Five of Pentacles, is not the Ten of Pentacles, baby. It's the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles is somebody that's reconciled their masculine and uses it to make fucking money, baby. Make fucking money, big money. Who cares what anyone's gonna think? Someone says, oh, do you want to come to my baby shower? No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. Why? Because a no to you is a yes to me. And when I have boundaries, I can hold more. I can hold wealth. But your path to success is much more about what you say no to than what you say yes to. And every no to them is a yes to yourself. But it is safe to say no. People will not hate you if you say no, but when you say no to somebody who's used to getting a yes, they're going to think you're being a bitch, and your job is to not get emotional about that. You're just saying no. I'll never, my boyfriend was like, husband now, you need to, I think that you just need to like go and sit and breathe, because like you seem really angry and you're taking it out on everybody. I said, I'm not angry. I'm just saying no to you. No, I'm not going to change Wiley's diaper right before I go to work when it's your time to watch the kids. Sorry, she shit on your clock. Go change the diaper now. That's not me being a bitch. That's not you being a bitch. Snake in the water. Not me being a bitch, not you being a bitch. It's just saying no. And you're taught as a child that like, if you say, oh, you should share your things. Oh, look, you're hurting their feelings. Their feelings are not your responsibility. You say no as much as you want. And if somebody in your life doesn't make you feel good, just remove them. They're never going to magically start making your life feel good. All right? So let's recap this. We talked a little bit about my story. We talked about getting to the bottom of that why them and not me. We talked about not enough, enough, and more than enough. Maybe take a look at where you are right now. Have you outgrown your enough? Are you in not enough? If you're wanting to get to more than enough or a new level of more than enough, you're going to have to work this Svadhisthana chakra. We talked about the 3 forces when it comes to sexual abuse. For this round, we are talking about you and your pain. When we are done with this and you're done with your meditation, whenever it feels good for you, I would like you to go to onamihouse.com/painkiller. There is a free painkiller worksheet on there. I wrote it. It's the entire 7-week grief recovery method. The only way to objectively cut a cord, let someone go, accept something happen, forgive them, and let it go, that whole thing. In a worksheet that'll seriously take you like 15 minutes to fill out, and these people will never fucking bother you again. The cord will be cut. You will be healed. If you're worried at all, you don't have to talk to them. You don't have to confront them. You don't have to go to their grave, nothing. And if, you know, the person that abused you, if you were lucky enough to have an abuser that is actually doing time for it now, You know, not that you're ever lucky to have an abuser, but man, seeing somebody that's been fucking with a lot of people go away is like, at least now you can't keep doing this to people. But it doesn't take the pain away. This painkiller sheet will take the pain away. All right, now it's time for you to do your process. You're gonna get your headphones, or you can just turn your phone up real loud. It's 3 parts. You're gonna be beating the shit out of a bed. You're gonna be beating the shit out of a bed to the song. When the next song comes on, you're gonna let whatever feeling comes up, come up. Whatever you wanna do, when that feeling comes up, if it's sadness, have space for it. If it's bliss, have space for whatever it is, but let it out, all right? And then the final step, when the last song comes on, you do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. I'll be doing it with you the whole time. You can do this, honey. These people that have hurt you, especially if there's someone in your family, they may be a part of your life, they may not be. But this is your life, and I'm telling you right now that the only blocks to you getting what you want are thought blocks, belief blocks. They're not physical, they're not universal. If you can change your thinking, all of this, your entire life is going to change. I promise. My name is Onami. I'm everybody's mommy. I can be your mommy too. You can find my work at onamihouse.com. Enjoy this process. All right, y'all. You get to watch me do this because it's really helpful to have somebody also going crazy with you. And I'm going to go full tilt crazy because that's the point of this exercise, okay? So here's what you're gonna do. First song comes up, rage as angry as you can. Second song comes up, whatever you're feeling, let it come up. But if you start to feel the feeling, like really try to coax it out of you. And then whatever you feel like doing for the last song, okay?
This is wow.
On the floating shipless oceans, I did all my to me, let me unfold you.
I've been stuck in the same place for so long.
Here I am, here I am, waiting to hold you. Did I dream? You dreamed about me. Were you here when I was for sale? Now my foolish boat is leaning, broken love long. For you sang, touch me not, come back tomorrow. Oh my heart shines from the well, I'm as puzzled as a newborn child. I'm as riddled as the tide. Should I stand amid the breakers, or should I lie with death, my bride? Hear me sing, swim to me. Swear to me, let me unfold you. Here I am, waiting to hold you.
There ain't a reason you and me should be alone tonight, yeah, baby. Tonight, yeah, baby. But I got a reason that you who should take me home tonight. I need a man that thinks it's right when it's so wrong tonight, yeah, baby. Tonight, yeah, baby. Right on the limits where we know we both belong tonight. It's hard to feel love.
Last set. Let it all go. Exhale, now feel your seat where you are today. Take a last inhale, reach your arms up over your head. And as you exhale through the mouth, swing them down into your lap. Open your eyes, and you are complete. You did it, baby. Good job.